Welcome back, the first new cooking video in many years now on this channel. Although this should be called Cooking in Finland, since I've been in Finland for quite a while now, I'm going to leave the channel as Cooking in Russia, and I will explain everything in another upcoming video very soon. In the meantime, here's a great recipe that everybody should check out. The ingredient list here is deceptive. It's actually an extremely simple recipe. Once you've cooked the eggplant, which is shown in the first part of this video, the rest of the ingredients basically just tossed into a food processor and ground up with the eggplant, spread out on a silpat, baked in the oven. Very, very simple. We have oil to cover the bottom of the pan. Start heating it up. Get a lovely gas stove now. Yeah, as soon as the oil starts to get hot, it's important to cook these slowly. We're not looking to brown them. We're not looking for an intense brownness on them. We just want to make them really soft. After about 5 minutes, you can see the oil starting to penetrate all the way through. Flip them over. Now we're going to add smoked salt. I'm using a really heavily smoked salt. You don't have to. You could use regular salt, but obviously it's just going to bring more flavor to the final product. And some fresh ground pepper. One of the reasons why you wait until this stage before you add it is so there's some moisture on the eggplant. Otherwise the seasoning's just all going to fall onto the pan and burn before it gets a chance to flavor the eggplant. This way it has a chance to actually penetrate the eggplant a little bit. Okay, it's been nearly 10 minutes. Flip it down. These to turn into like little sponges. Okay, it's been yet another 5 minutes. Now I'm going to flip them over and I'm going to turn the heat off. I'm just going to let them sit like this in the oil as they cool down for about 15 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more is okay. Okay, they've been sitting here for about 40 minutes now. You can see they're quite flexible and soft. You could just continue with the recipe right away now, or you can store these away and use them an hour, even the next day. The point is you've got them to the point you need them, and they're stable now. You can keep them for a little while. And once the eggplant is cooked and standing by, we have to assemble our other ingredients. I have a good quality of Italian tomato paste. This kind usually comes in a tube, a couple of cloves of garlic, egg. And the important part is the black beans and the red lentils. I'm using a kind that comes in boxes here in Finland, but sometimes it comes in cans. It's already cooked, it's already ready to go. All you have to do is drain it. And it's ready to go. You do have to drain it though, because it's got a bunch of goopy liquid with it. These are possible to make. You can just cook the lentils yourself and cook the black beans. You could even buy the dried ones and soak them. It's just no point to it. It will come out exactly the same anyway in the end. So I personally, I wouldn't bother, but you know, if you want to, go ahead. Now I have a couple of other ingredients that might be less familiar to you. One of them is these preserved black beans in chili oil that's available in Chinese stores. And you don't have to use these. You can use, a sprinkle of dried chili flakes or something, but this will give you much better, deeper flavor. Also, using black soy sauce, which is also available in Chinese stores. It's sweeter and more intense than regular soy sauce. Again, you can substitute regular soy sauce. You'll get a usable result. It just won't be as good. And then we're going to need some fresh basil later, but that comes after we already cooked this. So we've got all these ingredients together. Most of this is going to be weighed out and put into a blender, as you'll see next. Okay, all the ingredients are in here. It's been weighed out. The only thing I would mention is make sure you chop the garlic up a little bit before you put it into the food processor or the blender, because it won't blend completely otherwise. So then you dump this out onto a silpat. Do not put this on a plain metal roasting pan because it'll burn underneath. I suppose you could use a couple of layers of parchment paper if you don't have the silicone mat, but this is really the best way to go. And if you're serious about cooking, get one of these because it's used in many things. So you don't want to spread this too thin, but you want to make it even so that it cooks evenly. Okay, that's fine. And this is going to go into a 200-degree oven for 5 minutes, and then it'll finish at 140 degrees for the rest of the 20 minutes. After it's cooled completely, break it up like this. And now you should have cleaned this out again. Now it's going to go back in. And then after it's ground up a bit, spread it out evenly, put it back on the silpat, and that goes in the oven for the final dry. Then after it's come out of the oven, with the final drying time in the oven, spread it out a little bit more and let it rest till it comes to room temperature. And then we're going to do the final grind on it with the basil. And then it goes back into the mixer one more time. A big old handful of basil. Pick out any thick stems. Don't leave those in there. And then give it a rough chop before you process it. Then just bottle it up, store it in the refrigerator, and it will keep for at least a week, at least, if not more. And you can just sprinkle it on eggs or pasta. Pasta works especially nicely, and it transforms a simple dish into something with some really nice, deep, complex flavors. This enables you to take the simplest dish, plain baked fish, plain pasta, plain everything, add a couple of tablespoons of this magical ingredient to the top, transformed. Now you have amazing flavor with almost no additional work.